You're plugged in to The Real Life Show with your host, Malachi Malay.
And co-host, Catherine Martins.
Where real life issues meet real life solutions. Problems are not solitary things. Someone has been through what you're going through. So let's talk about real life.
Yeah, Malachi, baby. Representing our city, aka Rail City. Come on. I love my city, I grab the mic when I speak, cause I rep my city. I'm down for the long run, cause I bleed my city. It's about time you respect my city. Okay, so, going through all the trauma, going through all the multiple personalities.
I think I just had the 3, but I had like smaller ones too, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously depression was a key factor, right?
Yeah.
Did it go to the point of suicidal thoughts?
Oh yeah. I mean, the only reason that I never attempted suicide in my life is because of my spiritual views on suicide and what happens after physical body death.
And what are those views, actually?
Well, I think that whatever state you're in, emotions are tied to your soul, and I think that it's energy. Whatever energetic, emotional state that you're in, when you pass, you're still in that state, just without a body, and maybe on a different radio station.
Okay.
And so sometimes those people that are hanging around here that don't know that they've gone, that's why. Maybe they committed suicide, or they died suddenly and they don't understand that they died. And so they're sticking around looking for guidance, how to, just kind of stuck. Maybe they're living in a loop. I don't know, but I always had this deep-seated fear that if I killed myself and I woke up on the other side and I still felt like this, but I had no body and I was just stuck in this weird in-between state, not heaven, not hell, purgatory maybe. I was afraid of that. I was afraid of being stuck in that state forever. And inside, I always knew my core self is a very strong girl. And she knew, I knew that if I fought hard enough, I could get better. So if I killed myself and I ended up in that state without a body, then I had no more fight. I had no way to fight. And I didn't want to stay that way forever.
Because you're trapped like that forever.
I didn't want to be trapped like that forever.
Now,
That's the only reason, but I did cut a lot. For years and years and years,
Okay.
I self-harmed, I cut.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. To the point of hospitalization, or?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you ever become afraid that maybe some of it would be genetic and get passed on to your daughter?
All the time.
Okay. Is it hereditary?
Yeah, well, they say that it is. And here's something interesting, something to look into is epigenetics.
Okay.
So trauma can be passed down generationally. And we always knew that. And we sort of said it's hereditary. It's something that's debated in the psychiatric field, I think, a little bit. But when you start looking into epigenetics, you find that we've actually proved with some really cool science that trauma inflicts an imprint on your very DNA. And when you have children, it's your DNA, right?
Yes.
So in a very real way, trauma can be passed down, and sometimes we've seen cases of someone being through something and then a generation later their child having a phobia of something related to that. Something that would be this person's trauma trigger is this person's innate fear they're born with. And that goes into things like, the 100th monkey experiment, where you teach one monkey and monkeys, if you look into that, it's interesting. We won't get into it now, but it's that idea that you can pass on knowledge through procreation so that a species can survive and evolve. over time. So you can actually pass on you can be born with innate knowledge of something because a past generation learned the hard way, and it impacted a trauma imprint on their DNA that was passed down and expressed as an innate fear or a knowing of a danger or something like that. Does that make yeah?
It does because I definitely see generational like stuff happening, meaning to say that the mom the mom is, you know, goes through a scenario that's not hereditary, just a very harsh scenario, and she develops whatever post-traumatic stress disorder because of it, and all of a sudden the child also,
well, there's that way, it's a genetic passing down, but the other thing is that trauma changes the brain. You can actually look at a brain scan and see PTSD. You can see it in the brain because
yes, you can.
It's damage. It's physical brain damage. How is that not going to affect your parenting?
Yeah.
Right? And if you're traumatized and you're living in that state, that energy state, that mind state, and you're responsible for imprinting on a little person's brain the world around them, what do you think is going to happen?
So I guess the advice there is try to keep your children as safe.
Fix yourself. Heal your damn self so your kids have a future.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, you know?
Yeah, well, the day that she said,
advice?
you know, can Allie come back out? I was like, well, that's it. I got to do this.
No, sorry.
Yeah, well, my daughter, when I realized I had the altar, Karen, when she said, can Karen come back out to play? And I realized that, that was the day that I realized, wow, I have to heal myself. So what advice to heal, to get on that path of saving yourself, how to give yourself the drive to do that. For me, that drive was the love I have for my kids. So I don't know. I think it's about finding it. Find out what drives you. Find something to hold on to.
For yourself, it was your children.
For me, it was my kids.
Now, okay, explain how you were able to somewhat start healing yourself.
Well, the first step was that I reached out for support. I know that we have mental health services in the city. The mental health care has gone through a lot of changes and really stepped up the game. And then there's a lot of budget cuts, and we're failing in some areas too. So I knew that there were some resources, and the first step was just reaching out and finding out what they were and getting in touch and making those connections and starting to try to get into programs and that kind of thing.
Could you name a few of them? Because
so CHMA,
Canadian
Mental Health Association,
Okay. Yes.
And the program.
Were the programs free?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yes. So all of that is free, and they have. There's even one close to here too. I think there's a few in the city here.
Okay.
And they have all kinds of different services. So if you even just Google CMHA, you're going to get that on the web. It's going to probably come up first. And they have a lot of different services. They even have drop-in beds. Like when it's a really great service for when, like, say you're thinking about self-harming.
Yeah.
Because one of the setbacks I'm talking about with budget cuts is that we don't have all those beds at South Street anymore. We've closed up that hospital, that psychiatric ward.
Okay.
And now everything's moved to Victoria Hospital. But that means that we don't have room and funding for all these beds to have a lot of beds or to have them full all the time.
Okay.
So people that, I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. This is real life, people. This happens, okay? I don't know what's going on, but that's that.
Okay.
So like what I had experienced, like one time that I had cut because I had explained my spiritual views about suicide and said I'm not going to try and kill myself, but I definitely want to hurt myself, and I'm really severely depressed and suicidal. But I couldn't get a bed because the funding, the room's not there. So what they've done is provide a crash space when you're in that situation where they know, like, you don't need to be like 72-hour hold or longer, but you need a safe space tonight and support tonight. That's what they're doing. with that program, and I wish that I could actually plug it and tell you the information, but I am working on getting all that information up on my website as well. I'm going to have a resource page with everything on it. So.
And your website for the people?
Yeah, thehealthyvegan.ca. That's my site that I'm building to help people share, connect, and learn what works for them, find their passion, find a way to their own health. For me, it's yoga, meditation, physical wellness, like, you know, and taking care of what I'm eating, my physical nutrition through nutrition, my physical health through nutrition. But yeah, it goes into a lot of things, and we're not here to talk about that, but I will get those resources in a way that makes sense and have it there at some point too. So.
And if people just wanted to contact you, your social media
handles?
handles?
I could definitely send you some information that way too.
And what's your social media handle as well?
So on Instagram and Facebook, I'm The Healthy Vegan at Home.
Okay.
Because that's like, you know, the woman behind the website and the empire that I hope to build here.
Okay. Now let's talk about this empire.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, that was in the past.
Yeah.
You're much better right now.
Yeah. I'm flying. The phoenix is rising, man.
Okay.
My phoenix rose. I've never been happier in my life. I've never lived with such joy each day. I pinch myself almost daily to go, is this my life? Am I really here? Like, I'm so happy. I'm so full of energy, and I'm so, I don't know, when you start living in your true self and you let go of fear and you break the chains of everything, everybody's thoughts of what you should or could or can be, and your own thoughts of those things, and you find yourself because you allow yourself to sit in the darker places and you fully integrate. This is for people that are not even dealing with mental health issues. Everybody on some level is somewhat fractured, and when you fully find yourself and you start living that way, man, like the whole world opens up. It feels good, and I feel like there's nothing I can't do, and the only thing holding me back is me. That's it. Me, my own thoughts. Anything is possible if you believe it, if you speak it. So
well, you clearly you clearly explain how powerful your brain was able to,
it's very powerful,
morph into
our minds are so powerful. Why don't people know this? Why don't people know this? People need to know this, how powerful.
You're here to tell them.
You're
here to tell them, because what I'm thinking is that if your brain is able to morph into that personality, and that personality becomes such a reality in your physical life that you're not even conscious of, that you're acting out this other personality. That's how powerful that brain is. Imagine if it's flipped all the way on the other side.
I know.
You know what I mean? So therefore, if you could go to the darkness, right? You could really go all the way completely to wherever you want to go, and it can become a reality.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like how that was a reality, correct?
Yeah.
So, it's really the people that are at these positions in life that people desire for are able to take their mindset and actually go there.
Yes.
And then work backwards, and their physical body actually starts playing it out.
You decide, this is where I want to be. How do I become that? Instead of, I could never be that, I could never go there because you look at this and you say, I'm not there, but I'm going to be. Now, how do I get there? How do I change my life? How do I change me to become the person who is that person? How do I become that instead of saying I could never?
It's interesting though, because a lot of times people look at mental illness in the situations, take in consideration what you've been through, and look at it as, shoot, I'm finished. I went all the way to the dark side. But if you look at it in a different way, you're like, I'm actually able to tap into my mind in a way that most people can't do. And I just happened to go on the dark side. But if I went to the dark side, I could definitely, absolutely go to the opposite side. So like you said right now, the only person that's going to stop you from that greatness is you. Because you could definitely do everything's right there, man. Everything's up there. Everything's up there. If you could see it, and if you could visualize it, you could definitely play it out. Absolutely.
Anything.
Absolutely.
That's why vision boards work. Because you're speaking it into the universe, man. You're putting it out there.
In a different, it was a different interview that I did, and I was talking about, actually, you know what, it was, I don't know what it was, but it was a different interview. I was talking about vision boards, right?
Yeah.
And
Cool.
that is so true, because every single year, I just put the most ridiculous, most outrageous
Yeah.
goal on that board, right? And no word of a lie, within the last 10 years, there has not been one single thing on all these vision boards by the end of the year that I haven't done. And everything was subconscious. I never tried to do it. I just see it every single day, and that morphs my mind. That morphs, my goals and all that kind of stuff. Eventually, I look back and I was like, holy shoot. There hasn't been one single thing I met. I'm talking, I put the most ridiculous things on the planet.
Yeah.
Stuff that I believe it was impossible to achieve.
Yes.
By the end of the year, it's achieved, right?
Yeah, sky's the limit for
So
your
vision
dreams.
board. So you know what? So I look at mental illness at a complete different, realm. Even something like,
refreshing.
absolutely, even something like OCD.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Even something like OCD. People don't realize that, some people may look at it as a mental illness, but a lot of the great individuals in this world, I'm talking about Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm talking about Michael Jackson, I'm talking about Tiger Woods, I'm talking about all these great superstars in this world, had that particular quote unquote mental illness.
Yes.
But realistically, when I look at it, I see it as a perfection gene, meaning to say you're able to take one thing, concentrate on that thing to the point you're obsessed until you complete it in a perfect life form. Once somebody has that type of mind frame and they take their craft and they put OCD on that craft, somebody will be in the gym shooting about 1,000 baskets until they're able to hit every single basket. They miss one, they start all over. You know what I mean? And people like Larry Bird and all these other great shooters, that's exactly what they will say. They will say, wake up every single morning and they shot 1,000 baskets until they're able to miss only 2 or 3. If they miss more than that, they start all over until they keep on doing it, to the point where Larry Bird, happened to, become one of the greatest shooters on the planet. And everybody has stories like that. Tiger Woods has stories like that. Michael Jordan, has stories like that. So, people say mental illness, but I say
Mental
gifts.
abilities, gifts, mental gifts. I like that.
I say gifts. They are gifts.
Yeah.
All you gotta do, because every single quote unquote mental illness or whatever they want to call it, defect or whatever they want to call it, it has a different side. All you gotta do is tap into that side. Super aggression, anger, all that kind of stuff. You flip it on the other side is passion and will. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So if you do get to that point, you're able to switch it and get to the other point. To the point where you cannot give up on anything you do. So I definitely hear exactly what you're saying.
That's it.
I
That's what I'm
haven't
saying.
experienced what you went through, but I see it. I see it in people. I seen it in that one lady that she was hitting octaves. She was hitting octaves in a different mind frame. But I was like, but this is the same person. So therefore, all she has to do is come back to a physical frame and believe she could hit it. And she can. She did it.
Yeah.
She
I
did
know.
it. But somewhere the brain shut down. So the brain is very interesting, man.
So powerful and so complex and yet so simple.
Yeah.
Once you get it.
Yeah.
Once you really and it's like a switch being flipped. But it takes practice.
Yeah.
It's like being a little kid learning how to do something with your underdeveloped hands, and you just can't get that button on your jeans, and then one day you're like, oh my god, mommy, I did it all by myself. That's what it's like when it comes to like training your mind how to think in the positive love-based thinking, which is the opposite of fear-based thinking, which is I can't, I don't, I won't. When you learn, it's about finding a method to access practicing that, to exercise that muscle and grow it, and then one day you just do it. Flip that switch and you go, whoa. The world is your oyster, baby.
And I'm assuming that's what you use to heal yourself.
Yeah, well, what I used to heal myself was flexing that muscle through yoga, through meditation, through seeking knowledge, through reaching out, through just finding what would help me, finding my way. And for me, my way, there's 3 major aspects of helping mental illness when you're in the state that I was in.
Okay.
And it's proper physical health through taking care of your body, proper nutrition. Don't drink, don't do drugs, don't eat don't eat bad things, and you're going to feed your brain. Like, feed your brain and your body with good nutrition, and that is going to help give you a good foundation to do the rest of what you need to do, which is limit stress in your life. Figure out what in your life is affecting you and stressing you out, and instead of living where you think and complain about those things, fix them. How do I fix it? It doesn't have to be this way. If I don't like that thing in my bedroom, that ugly dresser, then get rid of it. Why are you holding on to it? Get it gone. And now it's not a thing that bothers you. Even little things like that. So take care of as much stress in your life. Build a space for yourself in your home that makes you happy, even if it's a small corner of the room with a favorite pillow and something scenty you love. Build that space and go there often, right? So take care of your stress. And then
Malachi, baby. Representing our city, aka Rail City. Come on.
I love my city, I grab the mic when I speak, cause I rep my city. I'm down for the long run, cause I bleed my city. It's about time you respect my city.